Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live session. So, guys, like always, we have another interesting topic. Today, we are looking at a very strong evidence from the Labour Party. We know that most times people keep asking, where are the copies that agents of Labour Party provided to the election tribunal? I want to tell you that there is this evidence that we've not really paid attention to. I mean, the copies from the Labour Party agents. We have about 10,000 agents copies that are ready to, indict INEC. I mean, these are strong evidence that will end up disqualifying our present president. So, guys, this is what we are going to be looking into. It's going to shock you that, most people have paid less attention to this evidence. But I tell you, this one is another powerful tool in the hands of Peter Obi and the Labour Party. So at this point, I'm going to allow Dr. Etel to come in and, break down what this 10,000 copies coming from the agents of the Labour Party is, the implication, and how the Labour Party is going to take strong advantage from it. So, Dr. Etel, please just take over and take us through this topic. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm sure we are still reeling from Peter Obi's Twitter space yesterday. It's the thing that is the in thing now all over the world, not just in Nigeria. Meanwhile, we are talking about 10,000 EC8A results held by Labour Party's polling unit agents, which was tendered during the tribunal hearing. It's not as if they just found it somewhere. It was tendered. It's part of the evidence that was presented in the hearing. And we are giving names, exhibit numbers. If you remember that the last person, the last petitioner's witness that Labour Party featured was Yunusa Tanko, who identified himself as a Labour Party officer who was also part of the people who were in the situation room. He came as a final petitioner's witness to identify all those documents, all those EC8As. Now, what we didn't know all this while, which came out as revealed by INEC themselves, because it is it's now choking them, and they vomited it out in their final address, was that those EC8A result sheets that Labour Party submitted came in three ways. Number one were those ones that the mathematician himself used to do his calculation, which he downloaded from IREV. Some of them could be viewed, some could not be viewed. Number two was the 10,088 that INEC themselves certified, which were blank results that we have spoken times without number here. And number three was actually the EC8A result that Labour Party tendered as evidence in the tribunal, which was handed over to them by their polling unit agents. Now, see why this particular information, okay, let's put it. How did we arrive at this information? Let me run you through the process again. The petitioner is Labour Party. I'm going to put like a control experiment. I'm not going to mention PDP or APM now. The petitioner here is Labour Party that petitioned the court saying, I don't like how the election was conducted. The respondent happened to be APC candidate, APC, and INEC. But it came in the order of first was INEC is respondent number one. Respondent number two happens to be APC. And respondent number three is APC candidate. Okay. Now, you can see that APC and their candidate have now merged their own report, just like Labour Party and P2B merged their own. Okay? So, petitioner petitioned the court and served the respondent. That was before they started sitting. And then the respondent responded with their own argument saying this is trash. And that was when the court says, okay, you people should now come before us and tell us what happened. Come and defend yourself. That was all the trial we had when they were presenting witnesses. After that, the court now told the respondents to go and write their own final report, giving them 10 days. You remember that? They wrote their own final address and submitted, which all of us read, and we have discussed it here. And Labour Party replied them. Based on all those things they raised, Labour Party replied them. According to the rule, they now have the opportunity, the respondents have the final opportunity to make their final argument in writing, which means after the hearing, INEC will submit 2 final address. Labour Party will submit 1. The first one they will submit, Labour Party will respond disproving it, and their final one. It is in this final document, which they submitted over the week, that it came late. The transcript has not come out of the courts, but it will reel out from Monday, because by the time they came, they did it after the close of work. So the court had not certified it so that we'll start seeing the listing. So in that one was where INEC was lamenting, saying they used their mouths in that report to now isolate and identify the 10,000 units. According to them, that the 10,000 units, 10,000 polling unit result, which was submitted by the petitioner that they got from their agents, should be thrown away because those agents did not come to identify it. That was how they passed the information to us. Now, that one is immaterial because definitely this new Electoral Act approved the admittance of documentary evidence instead of presenting petitioners' witness physically. It didn't say you can't present witness, but are they expecting Labour Party to call 10,000 witnesses? Where do they have the time on those number of days? They gave them 3 weeks and 2 hours per day. And that 3 weeks is actually just 15 days, as it were. So the law covered them, and the Supreme Court had actually ruled in the matter of election petition that substantial non-compliance does not necessarily mean that you have to gather witnesses from all the nation, that you could concentrate in one area, provided you can prove your case that that thing happened every other place. You know, just like what to do sampling out of a population, if you remember our elementary statistics. Good. So that was how the information came out. But now let's begin to see the effect. The 10,000 polling unit results that Labour Party submitted are polling unit results they submitted from the places they are contesting the election. That is...
Doctor, please, I have to come in at this point. Can you just explain to our viewers what we are deliberating on, please? Okay. Just for the benefit of those joining us now.
Okay. What we are deliberating on is simple. The final address written by INEC revealed that those EC8A results that Labour Party tendered as evidence, that 10,000 of them were actually result sheets where the real scores were written, held by Labour Party's polling unit agents. We used to think that all the EC8A bundles of EC8A submitted there, that all of them were just the one that INEC certified. But this 10,000 units that Labour Party submitted there were results that the polling unit agents had, which was handed over to Labour Party, and which Labour Party tendered as evidence, and almost all of them were those polling units that INEC certified blank result for. Now, that's what is called the probate value of an evidence, meaning the way court ranks the evidence. In this particular situation, the INEC copy is the highest ranked one because they are adjudged by law as a neutral umpire. objective umpire, even though we now know that they took position as a political party. The second one will be the police copy. You remember that in the case of Hope Uzodinma versus what's the guy that contested for governorship in Imo State under the PDP? Forgotten him. Okay, PDP versus APC in Imo State. Hope Uzodinma versus, I've forgotten his name. INEC came there. INEC could not produce the results they used to announce the election. Hope Uzodinma went, being APC man, he was able to conjure some result, call it police copy. And police endorsed it, saying it is their copy, though. Police said it's their copy. Whereas the PDP guy, I've forgotten his name, tendered his polling unit agent's copy. The court did not recognize. Yes, Ihedioha. Thank you, Ihedioha. So the court did not recognize that of Ihedioha, even though that of Ihedioha was the real result. And INEC, having compromised themselves to return Hope Uzodinma, did not stand and say the result that Hope Uzodinma has is the real result. Because if you say it's the real result, show us your own to back it up. So INEC did not start to say, we don't have result. Now, and Hope Uzodinma did not go to push them to give a certified true copy. I'm sorry, the Ihedioha did not, because INEC hadn't it. Now, the police copy that we don't know how Hope Uzodinma manufactured. You know the guys, he knows how to manufacture even hundreds of thousands of registered voters from his own ward, not even his local government, from his ward and village. So the Supreme Court looked at it and said, okay, INEC, you don't have your result. In the probate value, we're going to respect that of police before Ihedioha. Discarded that of Ihedioha and use that one that police gave and use it to recalculate the result and say that Hope Uzodinma is the winner. It was a technical arrangement between Hope, INEC, and police. So what INEC did was say, we don't have a result. Don't worry. Go and collect from police. Anything police gives you, let them put their stamp. And one DPO can just stay there and stamp it. And that was it. So what Labour Party did here, which was a smart thing, was to first of all extract from INEC their own certified true copy. And INEC sheepishly gave them certified true copy of blank results. And then Labour Party matched it with available results. So what it means now is, oh, dear Lordship, if you want to take our result, then of course you're returning us as the winner. If you don't want to take our result, and INEC has given you blank 18,088 results, which the difference between the declared winner and the runners-up is less than this 18,088. You know, they mentioned it is 2.5 million something. With you remember, it is in their listing. We mentioned it last time. So the choice before the judges is a devil's alternative to INEC. That is the summary. The choice before the judges is a devil's alternative to INEC. Whichever path the judges takes, Labour Party is the winner. They may win by Peter Obi being returned, or they may win by the election being annulled. Which both of them are in the prayers of Labour Party. If you don't think that these little ones were able to gather out of this mess is good enough to declare us winner, Kukuma cancel everything and let's go back to the field. And so INEC is losing breath and they don't know what to do. That is what happens. So the next thing that will be happening is the adoption, when the court will now collect these documents from them and give dates on when they will give judgment, or say, we will call you people and tell you when we will give judgment. There won't be any meeting again. There won't be any sitting again. After, I think it's going to be tomorrow or a day after tomorrow. I don't know if it is tomorrow or a day after tomorrow that will happen. What is called the final adoption. So I don't know if you have another question.
So the adoption is just to like admit those reports, right?
Yes, the adoption is the formality of the courts at making it official that those report has now been accepted. There were some times when they might still be given opportunity to do some final, some other speeches, which sometimes when they want to talk, the judges will say, you already have it in your report. We don't want to hear that again. Sometimes the judge can indulge you to just go and ramble, because at the end of it all, there is nothing you say again that is greater than what you have already said in your final report.
Wow. So for the benefit of those who are joining us now, we are just deliberating on some of the results from the Labour Party agents, about 10,000 copies of those results that can't be traced to the IREV. We can't find them on the IREV. The 18,000 plus result sheets that we're told that they are blank or they are blurred, out of those ones, Labour Party has about 10,000 results, legitimate results that INEC cannot provide their own copies. So that is what we are talking about at this moment. Doctor, please, you mentioned Hope Uzodinma because somehow his case is a bit similar to what we are deliberating on. Can you please just tell us the difference? Because you were saying he brought his own result. Possibly he got them from the police, they were equally signed by the police. But INEC told the courts that we don't have copies of these results. They were like trying to avoid any involvement. They were like, they don't have any copy. But how were the judges able to rule in favor of Hope Uzodinma when INEC couldn't even defend the results that he provided to them?
I believe it was a technical connival between INEC and Hope Uzodinma. So what INEC did was to back off, say they can't find their own results. All right. And remember, then IREV had not started working. It wasn't a matter of IREV then. So the Electoral Act 2022 hadn't come into effect. That was why IREV is a weapon of mass destruction to a corrupt leaders like INEC leaders, INEC managers, not INEC as an institution, but the people who are running it. They are corrupt. And IREV shot them in the leg. Now, then there was no IREV. INEC could not produce results. Hope Uzodinma, who is being challenged because INEC had declared him winner, and it was obvious. It was obvious. I'm sorry, did I say Hope Uzodinma? No, Ihedioha. Ihedioha, who is being challenged by Hope Uzodinma, was already a sitting governor. We know that Hope Uzodinma came fourth or third. So every other person went home. Hope Uzodinma said, no, I won the election. And people were like, what magic is he going to do? INEC couldn't produce their result. And the improbate value, meaning the way the court ranked the value of evidence, is that INEC is the most ranked. After INEC, another public institution like police before the agent's copy. But there was no IREV then. So Hope Uzodinma went and got what he called police copy. I say what he called. Yes, because of course, I'm sorry to say that, but you people know our police, how much wonderfully credible they can be relied on. What we know is that results of EC8As came from the police. And Ihedioha produced his own agent's copy, which was a replica of what INEC declared. But now INEC say they don't have their own. And now when the court looked at it, there was a disparity between what Hope Uzodinma presented and what Ihedioha presented. And because in ranking, the police copy is highly ranked more than agent's copy, the court took that of Hope Uzodimma and used it to give judgment in favor of Hope Uzodimma. And that was why from nowhere, Ihedioha woke up and he's no longer a governor. But that thing can't happen now because of Electoral Act 2022. Because there is now an existence of IREV. And if INEC say they don't have a result, and you can see it on IREV, they have a result. Because it is only INEC that can upload something to the IREV. That's where INEC shot themselves in the leg. They thought they could collect $1 billion from Nigeria and not have a way to give account to it. They may have messed up the election, but they left a trail because of IREV. So now that INEC have been able to certify their own blank result, which is on IREV, Labour Party now matched it with their original, with their own copy, which is not blank. So there is no need for police copy again because INEC has tendered their own. Besides, during the hearing, police did not come to tender their copy. And at the Supreme Court level, there is no tendering of evidence. All the evidence have been tendered at the appeal court level. The only thing Supreme Court will decide is to say the way the appeal court treated the evidence they have, they disagree with it, and because of that, they cancel what they say, or they agree with it and they uphold what they said. So police copy did not come to this place. INEC did not present a clean copy. The only party that presented a clean copy, and remember that even APC did not present any evidence. They did not present any results to say, we won, here is our own result. The only party that presented, remember I said, I am putting under control. I'm not mentioning PDP here. The only party that presented results, especially in the case of LP versus LPP2B versus INEC APC, is Labour Party. They presented two kinds of results. The one that was blank, that was given to them, stamped by INEC and the one that was stamped by INEC and given to them at the polling unit level. So, George, if INEC says my result is fake, where is his own? If his own is blank, George, what shall thou use to declare to make your judgment? It's either you use our own and return us as the winner of the election, or you discard our own and use INEC's own, and INEC's own will lead to complete annulment of the election. So that's why I said, either way, the choice before the court is a devil's alternative to INEC. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and sorry again. You know that when APC and their candidate came, they didn't talk anything with respect to election results. All the argument they came with, one witness they brought, was on the credibility of their candidate, whether he'll be disqualified. So that's why when we are talking about compliance to the law, we are talking INEC. If we talk about APC and their candidate now, we'll start talking about forfeiture, this and that and that. Somebody saying, how come INEC do not have their own result? It sounds funny. They do have their result, but if they produce it, then this case would have finished. If INEC produced their own result, which is genuine result, we won't be here because everybody will know that Peter Obi won. So the only thing they can do is to hide their own, just like they messed up in Imo State. But they didn't know that with the presence of IREV now, that same old method won't work again. It sounds fun indeed, my brother Michael, because funny things happen in Nigeria. It sounds funny because it is in Nigeria that two agents will be fighting in public because of an order of a court. A court of competent jurisdiction gave an order, and DSS said, quote and unquote, over their dead body, and they were fighting the person, the other government agency that the court gave an order to go with a and accused. Is it not funny? It's only in Nigeria that funny things like that happen. It's only in Nigeria that someone like Asari Dokubo can walk into Aso Rock, talk with the president, come into the official federal executive chamber and address the press, walk out with the president down to River State, and he's there mobilizing his army. It's all over the internet. He's there challenging the governor of his state, telling him that he will serve him woto woto. It's all over the internet, and DSS is at peace with it, and the presidency is at peace with it. It is only in Nigeria. That is why it sounds funny. Funny things happen in Nigeria.
So for Michael, I think it's not as if INEC does not have their own copies. So it's like at the polling unit, they gave the Labour Party agents a particular, let me just say, a result. And when we checked on the IREF, we saw that result there, but it was either blurred or is blank. But the one they issued at the polling unit has all the figures entered. So you can see the difference. So now the Labour Party is holding on that, saying that you guys gave us, INEC, you gave us these results at different polling units. But when we checked on your IREF, we saw that they all went either blank or they are blurred. So these are the things that INEC has to still prove. And honestly, this one is just, disqualification made easy for me, if I should give it a term. So, Doctor, I don't know. I think this IREF is really a game changer for the Nigerian people. If only we have credible people leading in INEC. We don't want people that have, dirty hands, like what we saw in this election. This election was supposed to be super credible because we had everything made available for us to have a very credible election. But because we have people that really want to come into power at all costs, I listened to this woman. She's from the civil society group. She was like, when INEC chairman realized that the politicians were really pressing hard on him, why didn't he raise an alarm? Because she was like, INEC chairman is very, very qualified to have handled this election very well. But it's just that the politicians held him so tight. So she was like, why didn't he raise an alarm? Why didn't he cry out that, they are forcing him to go the other route? And that was actually what INEC did. So I think the IREF is really a game changer. And like you rightly said, that we don't even want the judges to come up with any form of, the lawyers, the counsels to the respondents to come up with any form of technicalities, because it is very obvious that the sitting president will be disqualified. With all these things, is very clear. So, Dr. Tia, I don't know if you have some closing thoughts to share with us.
Yeah, the only closing thoughts I have is, was it Michael that said it's funny? Is that Nigeria is a funny place. When we had a session last week, when we were discussing whether the appointment of Lateef Fagbemi could result in manipulation of the judiciary, being that he's the lead counsel to one of the lead counsel to APC. Somebody wrote in the comment section saying that he's a police officer who has prosecuted a lot of cases. That there come a time when evidence becomes so incontroverted, there's no way you can debate the evidence, that no judge will back off from such level of evidence, no matter the corruption. And I said to him, amen. And why I brought that thought into this place is this. I am constantly asking myself, what is the rationale that the judges, whether the appeal court or the Supreme Court, could use to give a clean bill first to INEC for the jaundiced rape of election they conducted on one hand, and on the other hand, to give a clean bill on all the gamuts of allegations raised against the candidate of APC that started with issue of forfeiture, certificates, double nomination, and the double nomination of his running mate, and APM's unlawful nomination of himself, which is a very strong case we have discussed here before, and then plenty other things. I am asking if our judges will be that super negatively intelligent to cook up arguments that will clear this man and this political party called APC. Somebody said he will cease to be a Nigerian. I will continue to be a Nigerian, but it will take an angel to come down face to face and physically and face me as you're facing me now, and touch my shoulders and shake me before I will believe in the existence of Nigeria again. As in, what I mean by, for me to say Nigeria can ever get it right, it will take that angel. Because with the gamut of evidence that is available, if the court can keep shaking it, and get all of them trashed, because all those evidence that were marshaled out from the credibility and qualification, one of them is a disqualification. One of them is a disqualification. Not nominating vice president within 14 days and he did it after 21 days is a disqualification. The issue of forfeiture, if it is upheld, is a disqualification. The issue of certificate, university, if it is upheld, is a disqualification. The issue of dual citizenship, if it is upheld, is a disqualification on one hand. Then the mess created by INEC is a disqualification. Someone said here, please, I want to ask, I guess the blood result presented was more than 18, it is more than 18,000. It is 18,088 to be precise. Why did Labour Party present 10,000? Is it what they got access to? What happened to the remaining? No, let me explain here. The 18,088 were blood blank results given by INEC. That was what their mathematician was able to download. And INEC confirmed, because after downloading it, they requested the certified true copy of those places and INEC stamped it. Some of those places, indeed, Labour Party may have not won those places. They may have won the place, but they are blank or blood. But this 10,000 polling unit result that Labour Party tendered through their agents were the one they knew that they won, which was not given to them, which is in clear copy. All right? So that's what happens. Now, you don't go present result basically where you're not contesting, as the case may be. It is where you know, like we saw what happened in some states. The popular one all of us talk about is Rivers State, okay? I did analysis on the Benue State too, and we did it as a show that Labour Party won in Benue State, and I'm happy that even Labour Party themselves, they saw it. But we know that of the Rivers State, where you could see that Labour Party won something like 370, and it was reduced to 37. And it was reduced to 37. A whooping 300 and something will be thrown away. We saw it. And that is the one we could even see in between, looking closely at on the IREV for River State. What of the one that is completely blood or blank? Do you know that on IREV we have there was someone who is in his, there was one lady who was just there. How did they just snap the person and just uploaded it? Remember, if you go to the INEC manual for election, they showed you how to capture a copy, then look at the copy, be okay with the copy before you press send. And every polling unit agent was trained to do it. It's on the INEC manual for the election. So how could someone snap himself or herself and upload? That's it. Is it possible for judges to uphold this illegality of the APC and INEC? Simply the same question I asked. That's the question I asked. What of NYS? My brother, I didn't mention NYSC. because there was NYSC discharge certificate, and now another discharge certificate with a different name calling Adekunle. So when did Adekunle pop into the system? When did we stop answering Adekunle and start answering Ahmed? These are the things. Any one of them is a throwing out. The court is cornered. There is judicial precedent on these applications. They corrupt, and the guys underestimated the importance of the IRF. Exactly, we said it. IRF shot them in the leg. They never knew. They thought they would keep playing the old game. And that's why they are trying to say now that, because, I mean, INEC, you came and said that you did your collation through a physical copy. INEC, LP say, give us that physical copy. That's all. We're entitled to it. Give it to us. And you couldn't provide it. You say you use physical copy. Okay, fine. Give us the physical copy. It is in INEC, the Labour Party's final address. You said you use physical copy to do your collation. Fine. Where is it? Where is the physical copy you use? You can't produce it. Which even the Labour Party argued that now the burden of proof has now shifted from them, Labour Party, to INEC. Because INEC is the issuer of that document. And if anybody challenge and say that that document, the result they announced based on that document is a lie, the issuer of the document it is incumbent on the issuer of the document to say, we did not lie, we did the right thing. Here is the proof. So INEC, the burden of proof shifted to INEC the moment the issue of document is questioned. And the document we are talking here is the EC8A. And when they eventually issue that document, the certified copy, which the Supreme Court has also said that the certified copy is like a photocopy of what you have. The only difference is that you kept the original and you stamped the photocopy. So what INEC has is A4 ream of papers that they've packed in their office, blank. They are blank A4 reams of papers. It's a pity. We're talking about $1 billion and the fate of a whole country and the future of a country. I mean, just take a look at it. Yesterday, 29th, made it 60 days. See how much we have enjoyed Nigeria in the past 60 days. Because during the campaign, one man was talking issues. What the problem of Nigeria is, how he will fix it, and timeline when he will fix it. And others were busy discussing the man. That man that was talking issues was Peter Obi, and others were busy discussing the man, including the people that INEC gave the victory. That is why when they were eventually handed over the Aso Rock, they don't know what to do because they never had any plan. They only wanted to sit on the seat of power with no plan. People were saying, oh, when he gets his executive. No. A company CEO will first of all have a vision, and then he hires people who help him fulfill the vision. You don't own a company and you hire people to say, please, can you explain to me my vision and how I'm going to run it? Even in the Bible, where Pharaoh had a dream and was confused, he called Joseph. For those of you Christians, you will understand this story. I even believe many Muslims, they read Old Testament, so they know the story of Pharaoh and Joseph. But according to that Bible story, for those who have read it, it was said that Pharaoh said to Joseph, first of all, tell me my vision and explain my vision for me. And when Joseph finished telling him his vision, his dream, and explained it, what did Pharaoh do? Pharaoh handed over the running of the country to the boy. So the question is, will our president, until further notice, hire ministers who will tell him a vision and explain the vision to him? If that happens, will he hand over the government to them? Because that's what happens when you don't even know your own vision. When you're confused with your vision, and you need someone to tell you the vision and explain the vision, you naturally hand over to the person. And that's where kitchen cabinets come. And it kept happening in Nigeria because the past government for 8 years seamlessly looked like someone is running that government. You remember when the wife of the former president said, that her husband's government has been hijacked, that simply tells you that there was a semblance of not having a vision, just a desire to be the president, but not having a vision. And those who interpreted who told him a vision and interpreted it, hijacked the government. So are we waiting for another hijacking of Nigeria? Okay, that is it for tonight.
Yes, Doctor, thank you very much. We all know that during the campaign, Tinubu was saying that now data we go chop, as in they could not even tell Nigerians what they were coming to do, you know. And now they've taken over the leadership of Nigeria. They are finding it difficult to solve some simple problems, you know, that wouldn't take them anything to have handled very well. So that is where we are today. Doctor, please, before I let you go, we all know that petitions were tendered, evidence were brought to court, and witnesses were equally called to testify. Now, reports have been submitted. So what next? Because I don't know, just give our viewers what next, what they should be expecting.
The last thing now is what is called final adoption. It's a ceremony, so to say, whereby the petition has been Peter Obi, okay, and INEC and APC, they will come to court for official ceremony of saying we have submitted this, and the court say we've received you people's government, we've received you people's documents, we will deliver our judgment on so and so date, or we will tell you people when we will deliver our judgment. So that's all. After that final adoption, which I think is tomorrow or a day after tomorrow, the next thing we're going to hear will be judgment, or the date when the judgment will be delivered. That's all.
Okay, this adoption, is it what is going to be taking place on Tuesday?
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully. I think it is Tuesday or not. I think it's Tuesday, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you have anything to say.
Nothing else. I just remember the only final thing I want to say is that yesterday during the Twitter space, Peter Obi said that if he was declared president by 1st of March, that between 1st of March and 29th of May was more than good enough time for him to set up a think tank of economists, economic management team that will provide everything needed to remove fuel subsidy without Nigeria feeling like orthopedician is cutting their arm without anesthesia. Which means Peter Obi would have removed the subsidy, but Nigeria won't be stifled as they are today. Which means that he had a plan, and he said it even to years. They said the plan is so easy. He said, you don't go on surgery without receiving anesthesia. They numb the place before they cut your body open. But what APC is doing is like chopping your skin, telling you they want to heal you. And then you can die of the pain, not of the sickness itself. That's it.
Thank you very much for your thought, Dr. Tal. Viewers, we want to say a very big thank you for joining us. Please don't forget we'll be live here again tomorrow. Please do join us. Please subscribe to this channel, hit that like button so that YouTube can push out this video for others to see. Want to say a very big thank you to all of you that joined us for today's live session. See you tomorrow. Dr. Tal, thank you and good night.
And thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night rest, okay?